So today I'm basically just going to be talking about the pros and cons of being in the United States military in the year 2026. For some background, I am a E4 in the United States Air Force. I am security forces. I've been in for 3 years. Uh, in what, like 15 days now? um, yeah. There's so many pros and benefits and amazing things about serving, but there's also a lot of downsides um, that come with being a part of the service. I'm going to try to tread very lightly on this one because I don't want to lose my job for potentially, saying some crazy things that don't need to be said. Um, but yeah, let's roll into this. So I'm going to start off with the pros. Um, Especially for being in the Air Force, you get that structure that you need. You don't got to worry about things that most of the civilian population has to worry about. When you first get to your first duty station, you are in a dorm where you don't have to pay any utilities, any rent. Um, you have a DFAC, which is essentially the cafeteria where you go and get free food. Basically, it's taken out of your check, but um, free food. And yeah, so housing and sustenance aside, you're covered there. And even when you do eventually move off base and have to find your own apartment, you're given BAH, which is basically like a monthly um, um, stipend for living, basically. So you're essentially given money to pay your rent, and you're given BAS as well, which is also money that is used that otherwise would have been taken out um, of your account. Um, that well, yeah, that otherwise would have been taken out of your account in order to for you to be able to eat at said defect cafeteria. Is actually no longer taken out, and that BAS is now uh, added to your check, and you're able to buy groceries and other forms of sustenance with that BAS. So housing, food, knocked out there. Probably the two most important things in life, shelter and food, are provided for you. You know, another major pro, the job security. You don't ever have to worry about getting fired unless you do something incredibly stupid. Um, Steady pay, at least, yeah, for the most part, when the government isn't in cahoots. Uh, reliable pay. You can take leave for a month and not have to worry about your pay changing, um, or not getting paid at all, um, which is something that people on the outside world, the regular world, have to worry about. But you, as a armed forces member, don't have to worry about that. So you can take your leave for however long you want to take your leave and not ever have to worry about not getting paid or not receiving your full pay. So that's another amazing thing about being in the military, just the security, like just the safety net of you're just given a major safety net that most people not in the military aren't given. You know, you're basically babied and coddled in a way. You know, another pro is going to be um, free healthcare. You don't have to pay to go to the dentist. You don't have to pay to get seen and checked because the military has got you covered. That's another amazing big thing because we all know how incredibly expensive medical care is in America, especially nowadays. Yeah, another big thing. If you're into traveling, the military will take you to so many different places that you would have never ever imagined in a million years it would have taken you. Um, so far, I've been stationed in Nebraska, uh, starting off amazing, but now I'm in Germany, so it didn't turn out too bad. But yeah, you'll be able to see the world. You will be able to leave that hometown that you wanted to leave so desperately, and that's probably why you joined the military. So yeah, traveling um, is a big one. So take advantage of it if you are one of those lucky people that get overseas assignments, or even if you get stationed somewhere in America. Still, if it's somewhere different than your hometown or home state, still take advantage of it. Go out, go see things that you otherwise haven't seen before. Um, so yeah, take advantage of that. Travel. Another major pro to being in the military, a big one, probably the biggest one, reason why I joined, would be the education benefits. You're given like what, $4,300 during the fiscal year to attain to attend college for free. And this is yearly. So, uh, yeah, and you're also given credits from your technical training that you receive after you graduate boot camp. Where you learn to do your job. So, and you can, at least for Air Force, I know this for Air Force, you can apply those credits that you got from tech school and use them to, help, uh, you know, expedite your process of, attaining that degree. So yeah, education is a big one. Take advantage of it. My job is very demanding. The schedule is crazy, but I've still managed to do the work. Um, and all it takes is effort. All it takes is effort. Most people are really lazy, and I don't blame them. Especially um, if you're like a maintainer, security forces, or work a really demanding, high stress job. It can be really hard to really want to focus on school. Um, some people join for school and end up getting sidetracked because of the AFSC they picked. But yeah, don't lose sight of why you joined. If education is why you joined, even if it's just two classes at a time, uh, do school, do school, um, do school. Especially if you don't want to make this the military a career, do school. Okay, and now we shall get into the cons, the negative, not so good things about being in the military. So we're gonna start with um, big one for me at least. It's um, you're not you're gonna you're gonna feel trapped, especially if you're you're someone that's always been like an individual, someone that's always valued self-expression, um, just being yourself. Um, you're going to really struggle with that while you're in the military, because the military obviously prides itself on uniformity. You you can't you can't do whatever you want anymore the way you could as a civilian. You can't wear certain hairstyles anymore. You can't have certain piercings. You know, you can't have certain tattoos in certain places. So that individuality factor can be very annoying, and the military culture as a whole is very it's just very it just leaves no room for an anomaly, you know, like a Dennis Rodman type, there is no room for that. Everyone here pretty much just thinks the same, has the same ideals, acts the same, um, has the same outward look on life. And if you're someone like me that, you know, doesn't really align with most of those ideals, it can be very tough sometimes trying to balance self and, you know, living in your own essence while also being in the military. So that's one like big con to me. I'm not sure if it's a big deal to you at all, but that's one big con to me is the little space for self expression, which I expected. It's the military. Second con, I would say, is being far away from home and far away from family. Uh, yeah, sometimes, especially when you go through like difficult times, it's just really convenient to be around your family. Um, you want to be around for the holidays. You want to be around for big events and birthdays and sometimes you just miss home. It's okay to miss home sometimes. I know most of us join to leave home, but sometimes I miss home. Like I I don't know. There's a certain just good feeling you get whenever, you're home. It's where you feel grounded, it's where you feel safe if you come from like a decent uh family and home situation. So and sometimes being away from that can kind of put you in a negative, dark, really dark headspace, depending on what situation you're going through. Uh, while you're away from home, because a lot of things will happen to you. You know, not just in the military, but in life as a whole. While you're away from home, and sometimes it's good to have that support system. Your family, really good friends. It's really convenient to have them close by, but obviously with the military taking you to every which way in all these different places, and sometimes you're gonna be thousands of miles away from home, different time zones. It can be really hard to stay grounded and you know think with a clear mind when you're homesick. So I would say that's a big con uh, with joining the military. Just not having your support system around. The third con is going to be this kind of ties into the big this kind of like relates a little bit to that first con of the lack of self-expression. uh you're essentially you signed up to be a government servant essentially. So you will bend at the will of whatever America wants you to do. And once again, that I know that's like a big red flag for most people, especially people that pride themselves in thinking for themselves and having autonomy over their own life. But yeah, you are at the will of this country. Basically, when you join the military, you will do what Uncle Sam says. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can try to do things your own way, but it won't end well most of the time. Uh, and there isn't really anything you can do about it. It's the military is very rigid. It's built on hierarchy. You will have to respect certain people because of their rank. Doesn't matter how much of a shitty piece of shit they are, you will have to respect them because they outrank you. And we all know that rank means absolutely nothing outside of the military in the actual real world. But the military is its own little world, and in this little world, rank matters, unfortunately. So, yeah, yeah. What is this? The third con, third or fourth con? Yeah, whatever this con is. rigid. It's very rigid. If you're a person that isn't used to rigid structures and just really structure as a whole, this will be a big culture shock. And I've seen some people get kicked out in boot camp because they aren't able to really conform to this rigid structure. Okay, and that's pretty much all I have for today. Um, Comment below which pro or con stands out to you the most, and comment uh, if this has motivated you or um, kind of like turned you away from joining. And yeah, have a great day.